You're listening to the Paraismynormal podcast. We are a bit science, a bit woo, and all curious about that which defies explanation because sometimes normal just isn't.
Welcome back. Tonight we're taking you with us into the dark corners of Toledo's Collingwood Arts Center. Collingwood is no stranger to history or to the unexplained. And during our night there, we encountered something that didn't just raise questions for us, it literally raised goosebumps. We'll share EVP clips, live sessions, and something a little deeper, a conversation about why we chase ghosts in the first place. So stay close, because it's not just about what you hear, it's about how you listen. In 1905, a solemn brick structure rose on Collingwood Boulevard in Toledo, Ohio. It wasn't a theater back then, it was a convent. The Ursuline Convent of the Sacred Heart, a place where young women train for religious life under the watchful eyes of strict nuns and sacred vows. Today, the building is an art center filled with painters, performers, and musicians. Yet in the shadows, something else lingers. A lady in white, drifting through the corridors, the faint sound of children laughing in empty classrooms, a dark presence in the attic that watches, waits. And in the theater, an audience member who never leaves his seat. The theater is arguably the heart of Collingwood, architecturally and paranormally. So we started there.
Hello.
Hello, hello. So what do you think so far of tonight, honey?
The auditorium was the acoustics in there are just fantastic. It's they remind me of the Emery Theater and of the Sword Theater. The acoustics are just magnificent. And so we did a. What do you think? We were there about an hour and a half.
Yeah, about an hour and a half.
And we did some silent sessions. We did two of those, and then we did some EVP work. We'll know later on if you get anything on that. And then there was just something, I don't know what the hell it was, but we played some musical orchestral selections. And we were doing the EVP session immediately afterwards, and we heard some knocks, and the acoustics are just amazing in there. I thought they were coming from my right because I was sitting in the audience, and I thought they're coming from my right. But Jennifer was saying they were coming from behind you. Is that correct?
It was very interesting, the acoustics in there. So let's back up a little bit.
Yeah.
We did a few silent sessions. So the first thing we did when we got in there was take the bass line.
Yep.
And then we did a silent session for about 10, 12 minutes.
Yep.
And I was shocked at how dead silent it is.
It is really dead.
And I don't mean energy wise. I mean like you can't hear anything in there. It is really weird.
And which made it really nice if anything were to happen. I mean, you can hear it.
Oh, you can hear it almost in stereo, right, Mike?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So then when things were happening, it was really difficult for us to pinpoint where it was.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, there was a couple of times where I thought it was on stage. Jennifer thought it was up in the upper balcony. So, I mean, it was just, but yeah, it was just amazing. Jennifer, I don't know, but when we did our very, very first silent session, and it looked like on the very far right in the upper balcony area, in that entrance to the upper balcony.
Oh, yeah.
Far right.
The archway.
I don't know. I didn't have my recorder on, but it looked like there was something like running back and forth of the doorway, like real quick back and forth. So
Yeah. And we, just so everyone knows, we did the tour, but we opted to only hear history.
yes,
Not hear anything about the haunted history.
negative, nothing like that at all.
We wanted to be completely unbiased in this. So we don't know what people's experiences have been here.
Which is nice because we want our own experiences in here.
Exactly. So interesting is we decided based on us kind of hearing things move around, and it's like, oh gosh, you can't pinpoint, but you could imagine, based on other theaters that we've investigated, because, we started in the theater space, footsteps, whispers, exactly what you said, shadow people.
Yeah.
So we decided to do an experiment where we took 4 microphones and we put them all over the theater.
We had correct. We had 2 up on stage. There's they have a couple of speakers, stage left, stage right, and we put 2 speakers on there. And then Jennifer went upstairs, and she put 2 microphones up on the railing for the upper balcony, and but facing the
All facing back
all facing back, like the seats.
in the
Okay.
seats. Yeah.
Not facing forward, but facing the seats.
So then what we did was Mike was sitting down in the seats downstairs in the first floor. I was sitting up in the balcony in the seats. And then what we did was we just kind of waited to see how sounds moved through. So we were talking to see what was being picked up. Mike first did a walking across the stage experiment where he walked from stage left to stage right
And then back.
and then back to see how it would echo through the theater. And then we haven't reviewed any of that. So I'll splice in the audio from that if it's interesting into this.
Yeah. Ooh, Tara.
Yeah, it's been doing that. So we have some gear going here and we've just been kind of ignoring it while we're recording to see what happens. But so then what did we do? Oh yeah, then we did a whisper test. So I up in the balcony started whispering just to see what microphones would pick it up. So I was whispering very quietly and then I tried even more quiet.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, the whispers sounded so loud to me.
Oh yeah.
You could hear me whisper even all the way down.
And by the it's not a pit, but maybe that where you call it, when they call it the orchestra area.
Okay, by the stage.
By the stage, yeah.
Wow. So then we did that. And then we have it the other way now where we were speaking on stage
Yep.
and seeing what microphones picked up as well. So I'm very interested to see. And then I did another thing. So when we were coming down to do an EVP session, I was like, if you're in a theater and you're hearing phantom footsteps, what if it could be someone out in the hall on the first floor and it's picking up on the second floor? So I went ahead and walked around the hall of the stage, the theater a couple times there just to see if it picked up on any of the microphones.
Right.
Because we figured, hey, let's go ahead and try to debunk everything we can, not knowing what the experiences are.
Right.
So yeah, we did that. And then music, which was always good. We love doing a good trigger music.
Yeah. We played a couple of orchestral selections and then posed a quick 2-question EVP, maybe 30 seconds in between just to see if we got a response. So we'll be reviewing that probably later.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, depending on what it is, we'll go ahead and splice in the audio here. So yeah.
It's astounding. Time is fleeting. Madness takes its toll.
If you like that, see that green light on the table? Can you touch that green light? How about this? If you don't like it, can you go ahead and turn that green light red? Do you like that musicals like this are happening in a place that used to be a convent? Especially what we heard of the Ursuline nuns, that they were very strict.
Extremely strict.
So did it work? I mean, the jury's still out. We're checking over the EVPs, but there was something about that space. It did feel heavy in some areas and lighter in others. I will say particularly when I did sound mapping experiment up on the second story, the balcony of the theater, it definitely felt like I was not alone up there, which I know for sure I was. So we will say the theater still holds a very special place in our hearts. A lot of energy there, kind of interesting. And so after that, we decided to move on a little bit, but we will return to the theater space to end our investigation. So right now we're in what is called the library. And
If you were to, like, where I'm sitting, stand up, turn right, we're on the stage.
yeah, it's right off the stage.
Right off the stage.
So what they do is they use this as a green room now, but it's still very much a library. And the historical fact here is that if a nun passed here, which historically speaking, they have record of 10 nuns passing here, their body would be laid here, and then one of the younger nuns would wait with the body until it was picked up.
Picked up. Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to be doing a quick EVP session here.
Yeah.
And seeing if anyone here would like to speak with us. So we will check back in later in our investigation.
All righty.
So with a little activity in the green room, aside from a few flickers on our K2s, we were starting to wonder if the night would stay quiet. Well, here's a little spoiler. It didn't. So next up, we took our gear over to the Gerber house. On the third floor, we set up 2 recorders, 2 K2 meters, our plasma ball, and a music box. And nothing. No activity, no hits, but that's really a part of it too. A quiet space is still data. It's still an experience. So back at home base, we sat down for a more personal conversation. It's really easy to get swept up in this urgency of paranormal investigating, like the idea that every hunt is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. But is it? All right, so here we are in the Gerber house.
Yes.
And so last we left off, we had just done an exhaustive investigation of the theater, and we walked through that.
Yeah.
So we left off in the library.
Yeah. And we weren't really getting that much action in the library, so we went ahead and we brought out our plasma ball that puts out a lot of EMF.
Yes.
And I had 2 K2 meters set up, one by the door, another one by the settee sofa, if you will. And I noticed that the K2 on the settee was going off, but the tri-field meter was not. So I was a little bit leery about that. But I did notice that we were getting some intelligent responses on the K2 meter by the door. And it was pretty good. I had my little my camera. I had that set up by the on a chair just opposite of the K2 meter. You could see it, going off. And so thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was pretty good information right there.
That was really cool. And so then after that, we decided to go up back into the Gerber house.
Yes.
To basically the top of the turret.
Way up there.
All the way to the top.
Way up to the top. Yeah, it was, wow, that was way up there. So we came back down and immediately went to,
It was the creative room on the third floor.
creative room on the third floor. And, just like what Jenny would say, I'm not feeling anything in here. So,
it was very quiet.
very quiet. And we tried to, again, I was using my plasma ball just to try to get some energy in there. Nothing, no K2s, no nothing in there. So,
Very, very still.
yeah.
So now we're back at home base over here in the Gerber house.
Yes.
Which is on the first floor of the Gerber house.
Correct.
And so we're just sort of catching up. And Mike and I were sitting here taking a little break, and we were talking about sort of what we wanted to do next in the building. And we got on this great discussion. So we decided, hey, let's go ahead and grab our recorder and sort of plug back into the podcast, because we were really talking about the idea of scarcity in the paranormal.
Yes.
Meaning, oh my gosh, we're here, we have to do all the things.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, when Jennifer and I, when we first got to OSR, it was like, oh my God, it's so big. We have to do all the areas of OSR in one night.
Okay. Yeah, all 250,000 square feet.
250,000 square feet in one night is just impossible to do.
Yes.
And I think the investigation started at 8 o'clock. By 10 o'clock, I told Jennifer, you know what, we have to come back because this is absolutely insane, all the areas. And so I took that philosophy, and I think we're going to put it here in Collingwood. I think what we're going to do is maybe just go back into the auditorium and investigate that more. See what we can do in there. I know we were hearing some noises because, well, first off, like I said before, the acoustics were just so good up in there.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah. But maybe during our investigation, I was down either on stage or right in the front row. But Jennifer was up in the balcony, and she was saying that she had some heebie-jeebie feelings up there.
Yeah,
So,
the hair on the back of my neck started to get really like crawling, like standing up, which
Yeah.
only happens to me rarely.
yeah,
A couple times I can think of where it happened very prominently, Ohio State Reformatory, in that cell where I felt something sort of run up on me.
Yeah.
And it was like, and then sitting up in the balcony here.
yeah,
And it's one of those things that, okay, so we did the theater, we did the library room off the theater.
yes,
Then we did the attic, if you will, or the third floor of the Gerber house.
yeah,
And it's like, if you look at all the other things, Collingwood is so large for 86,000 square feet. It's actually three completely different things.
yeah. You've got
The theater,
the theater, you have the Gerber House, which we're in right now, and you also have the Art Center. So
Yeah.
you have three different areas that you can investigate here, and you can't do that in one night. You
No.
have to come here.
I mean, if you do, you're spending like a half hour in each little area, you're just doing a couple things and moving on.
Yes.
We like to really sit and experience and
Yeah, you want to take it all
yeah.
in, and you can't do that here at Collingwood. You have to come back multiple times to really get an experience here.
And we even have to 3:30.
Yeah.
So even with us getting the longer experience, we still couldn't even hit everything.
No.
One of those things that you could sit there and be, oh man, bummed we didn't even touch the actual art center.
Right.
But honestly, we really enjoy investigating the theater side of things.
Yeah.
And we decided, hey, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and say, we're happy with what we've done. We're going to go back to the theater and finish up there.
Yeah.
And then when we come back, then we're going to prioritize going into the art center and really investigating the art center.
Yeah, because it's just so massive here. I mean, when you go outside and just look up, and all you see is building. I mean,
Oh, my
it is. First off, it's very beautiful on the outside, but when you come inside, it's just the same. Just the ornaments and the way the accoutrements here inside this.
Details.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's the thing that we wanted to talk a little bit about, because I think, especially if it's a place that you can get to again, some places might be once in a lifetime opportunities. And then it's like, okay, we're only here for X amount of hours. It's the only time we're ever going to be able to be here. What is it we want to accomplish? And that was sort of like us at Bobby Mackey's, right?
Right.
We were there twice right before it got demolished. And we knew our time was limited because it will not exist.
Yeah.
After this, same thing with the Emery.
Yeah.
We got in at the Emery, and it no longer exists in the form it was. It's being, renovated for the Children's Theater of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So there's things like that where you're like, okay, there is some scarcity in those moments, but in general, you can always come back to a location, and it's important that you are okay. If you get happiness sitting in a theater for 4 hours, go investigate that theater for 4 hours. You don't have to do an entire location just because it's there and everyone does all these hot spots. And,
Right.
Follow your heart, follow what calls
Whatever's
to you.
talking to you, yeah. Just don't try to go in someplace and force stuff to happen, because it's not going to happen. If like we went up into that what was that room?
The creative room up in
Creative
theater.
room, and we were, like I said earlier, we were trying to pump so much EMF in there, and nothing was going on. So it's like, well, if it's not going to happen here, then it's not going to happen. So
Exactly.
let's try someplace else.
And it's just like our saying, you can't make the building perform.
Exactly.
There's no bed sheet floating.
Exactly. Yeah.
So even though I will say it's been quiet here, I'm not disappointed.
No.
If you have the opportunity to come to Collingwood, I would say do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's really reasonably priced. You can get a private here, which is wonderful.
The tour, the gentleman who did the tour, he was very nice. We asked just for the history of the building, and he was very grateful to do that. We did not want to know anything about any kind of spirits that were around here.
Yeah.
He just said, and here and there, and then and we were very grateful for that. So
And it's really allowed us, I think, some freedom because we've been able to go in, like for the theater, we're not trying to recreate or experience other people's experiences.
right,
We go in there and we're experiencing it for us, but then we're like, okay, what could we experiment here and try to start understanding the way this building works? Because that theater, I've never seen a theater built like that.
no,
And the way it works acoustically in all the theaters we've done, I've never seen the acoustics of that before.
no.
So it was really fun doing like an audio experience there, and I can't wait to review that footage and see
As a
what
matter
it
of
sounds
fact,
like.
let's cut this now and let's go back into the auditorium.
All right, I think that's a date.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and finish up our investigation. We talked about the pressure to chase, to prove, to collect, and how letting go of that pressure, letting go of the scarcity mindset can actually help make us a better, more present investigator. Since I'd had that weird feeling in the balcony earlier in the night, we went back up to the theater balcony. And this time we brought the plasma ball, 2 H1N recorders, which are our preferred recorders for recording EVPs, and our yes-no spike pad. So we're up here on the balcony of the theater. And I don't know if the audio is being picked up the way it really sounds in here. But even the smallest noise is just amplified in stereo around you. Mike, you mentioned something that up here, because it's a dome, you almost feel like you want to float.
Yes, it's very, very light,
Yeah.
airy up here. Not, I mean, you go to some places and you can just feel like it's like heavy, But up here, I mean, yeah, you may be second floor, but I'm not feeling anything up here. Now you only have, you can see over there, you only have the plasma ball going off,
Yeah.
trying to pump something in the air.
Now they do run over here what they call a ghost light on the stage. And that is on all the time that there's not a production happening. So we did turn it off earlier when we were in here, but this time we decided to keep it on. But yeah, when the light is off, it is pitch black in here. And so with you not being able to see, and then there's no ambient noise. It's like almost like you're in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, it really ups the creep factor. And I do wonder if that is why I was feeling the heebie-jeebies.
Maybe.
Because it was like sensory deprivation, and it was just making me like really aware of my surroundings. Completely still. That sense, not there at all. There was a shift in energy, like it left. So, since we were done, we packed our gear and we headed back to grab the last of our things. We had nothing running, all of our equipment was gone, no cameras on, nothing. And then we walked right into it, literally, a wall of static. It raised every hair on our bodies. It tingled across our skin. It really felt like stepping through a field of energy. I mean, my shins were tingling. I've never had goosebumps all the way down my body to my shins. It was a wall of static, and it was the most unexplainable thing all night. We have zero proof of it, just a photo of Mike's arm covered in the goosebumps and the way we both froze and experienced it. But you know what? Sometimes it's not about what you catch. It's truly about what you feel. Thank you for joining us at Collingwood. If this episode made you rethink how you investigate or even just how you listen, consider sharing it with someone who's felt that same electric moment. So until then, stay curious, stay grounded, and we will see you on the other side.